and welcome to the First Unitarian Society. My name is Kelly Crocker, and I'm one of the ministers here. Today, I am joined by my colleague and our guest minister, the Reverend Suzelle Lynch, and the worship team of Linda Warren, Drew Collins, and Stephen Gregorius. At First Unitarian Society, we question boldly, listen humbly, grow spiritually, act courageously, and love unapologetically. If you're visiting us today, welcome. We're so very glad that you are with us. If you would like more information about FUS, please stop by the welcome table located in the Commons. It is through the doors to your right, next to the elevator. We hope that you'll be able to stay and join us for coffee hour immediately following service, also held in the Commons. Today's service will have some fun and play embedded within it. One of the things is you need a piece of paper and a marker. Thanks to Sam and Elizabeth, who did such a great job handing those out. If you still need one, if you didn't grab one on the way in, if you would raise your hand. Okay. Oh, thank you. Elizabeth's going. Do you have a piece of paper and a marker? You need one. So leave your hand up, and Sam and Elizabeth, thank you, will bring those around. And for those of you joining us virtually, welcome to you as well. Please make sure you've got a piece of paper and a marker nearby you at home. We're so very glad you're joining us. We hope you'll take a moment to watch the announcement slides shown immediately after the service to find out more about our upcoming programs and activities. All right, those paper and markers will be coming around. Thank you. And I invite you to join me in a moment of silence as we center ourselves, bring ourselves fully into this time, joining together once again in community.
Most of us don't play enough. We think we're too busy, or that play is irresponsible, or perhaps we equate free spirits with silliness and prefer earnest, goal-oriented seriousness. Yet play is at the heart of our creativity, our sexuality. It is the exuberant expression of our core being. Play lightens our work for equity and justice by feeding our joy and our wonder. Play grounds our dancing feet in the present moment as we search for the deeper meanings in life. Play is passionate, play is possibility, play is powerful. Let me hear you say that with me. Play is powerful. I invite you to come out and play with me today as we come together for this time of worship, this time of shaping worth, as we come together to celebrate.
And I invite you now to rise in all the ways we do, joining together in our words of chalice lighting. We are all flames, dancing in the darkness, playing with shadows on the walls, laughing as we flicker and blaze, generously sharing our warmth with others. As we light this chalice, may our shared flames combine into one holy light.
So please join with me in our ingathering hymn number 397 with additional lyrics. They should appear magically on the screen. Morning has come, night is away, rise with the sun and welcome the day. We gather here, singing our song, with our voices the melody strong. Morning has come, sun's on the rise, beauty caresses our wide open eyes. We gather here, spirits aglow, singing together, our hearts overflow. Morning has come, we gather here, old friends and new friends from far and from near. One more time. Old friends and new friends from far and from near.
Please be seated. Yeah.
Okay, so.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I know, right? We'll get there. For our Story for All Ages today, Kelly and I, Reverend Kelly and I, are going to put on our story hats.
Oh,
Which story hat would you like?
oh, I think the blue one.
Okay. And maybe I'll take the yellow one.
What do you think, Eleanor? Is it me? The fact that she just giggles is the
You
best
guys
part.
gonna-
She's like,
We're glad you're here. Come on up. Any
Come on
other
up. Hey,
young,
Cleo.
young people or even people who
Could you
aren't
come on
young are welcome to come on up. Forgive me, I'm new here. I forgot to invite you.
Suzelle's got, there we go. Suzelle's got to put her story hat on.
Story hats. So, Kelly and I decided one day that we wanted to find the playground. So I know, right? Playgrounds are fun. And today is all about play. So we got to have a playground, right? So we set off on a journey looking for the playground. Do you see it, Kelly?
Not yet, do you?
I kind of wonder if it might be over there.
Oh, do you think
Just-
we're going the wrong direction?
Maybe over the hill?
Maybe, maybe.
Well, we might need some help getting to the playground. What
I
do you
think we do.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think we do.
So, to help us get to the playground, we need somebody to pull something out of our magic basket. Okay, what do you think? Okay. So, Kelly, what are we going to do with these magic scarves?
Could we see what way the wind is blowing?
Ooh,
Would that help us find the playground?
I think so.
Do you think? No, Eleanor? Not which way
No.
the wind is blowing? Maybe the wind will carry the voices
think-
from the playground?
I think if we have a duel with the scarves.
Cleo, is this what you were thinking? A scarf duel? Where the wind is coming from. Oh.
I really wanted to have a duel.
Hello, Helena. Hey, Thea.
Thea, which way do you think the wind is coming from?
What do you think?
That way.
I was going to say sometimes we can watch our flames to see which way the wind is blowing, but not today.
Well, actually, I think Thea's right. It's coming from this way.
This way. Okay.
And so that means we should go this way.
This way. All right.
So as we were going toward with the wind at our backs, because that gives you extra power to find the playground, right?
Right, absolutely.
And what else does the wind do for us?
I think the wind, did you ever hear voices coming from far away because they're carried on the wind?
Yes.
Maybe the wind would help us hear other people at the playground.
Are there people at the playground?
Oh,
I hear them.
I heard somebody at the playground.
playground. And they're actually coming from over there, so maybe
Maybe we are
that
going
way.
the wrong way. We need more help.
Okay, well, we need more help. Do you want to help us?
Eleanor, what do you think?
Pick out one of those cards.
Any card, Eleanor. Where are we going?
Ooh,
Oh, no.
there's a good climbing tree right over here. See it right outside?
Oh, there,
And
it
if
is
we-
a good climbing tree, isn't it?
And if we climb
We don't
up
want to
it-
give you any ideas, though.
I know, right? If we climb up it, ooh, like right up
Oh,
here.
oh, oh. Climb
we
up
might
the
be able
tree.
to see where the playground is.
Anything?
I still think it's that way.
I think you might
I
be
hear
right.
the people.
I heard people.
Okay, all right, we're going. Going
Or a
back for the
giant
climbing
bird of
tree.
some sort.
A giant playful bird. All right, so we're going this way.
Okay.
Okay.
What do we need?
I don't know. Do we need something else? Somebody to go with us, maybe?
Oh. Let's see. Pick something from the basket.
Can you pick something from the basket?
Pick something from the. Oh. I think we're getting closer if we found
Me
a
too,
ball.
if we found a ball.
He's looking at me like, don't you dare. Franz will catch it. Hey! You ready? See, maybe we needed people to play with.
Oh,
A ball feels like a playground.
Oh,
Helena, can you get it? Hey, thank you.
To find a playground,
I think so.
you need people.
We do. We need other people at the playground, right? Helena, you want to pick a card? Is that why you're here? All right.
Okay, what else do we need to get to the playground? Or what will help us get to the playground? Uh-oh.
What do we find?
We've got to cross the river in the rowboat.
You know,
get to the
rowboat. Does
playground.
anybody know how to row a boat?
Yes, come on up.
Cleo
Rowboat.
wants to pretend to be the rowboat.
Or do you want to be the rower?
You're the
Oh, you're the
rowboat.
rowboat.
Okay.
We're in the rowboat.
The water is wide and our boat is tiny.
Okay, thank you.
Cleo, you're a
We got
great
to the other
rowboat.
side. Thank you very much for being our rowboat, because without you, we couldn't have gotten on this next step on the way
No.
to the playground.
Not at all.
But we're not there yet.
We're not. Are we getting closer?
I wonder.
Who played the river? The carpet
The
was
carpet
our river.
was our river. Yeah, and you were just in the right spot to be the boat. All right, so what else is going to help us on our way to the playground?
What else? You want to pick something? Thea? It's a hard decision.
Oh, you know, we are totally going to need this. What is this?
It says sunscreen.
Oh, I thought it was magic juice.
It's magic sunscreen.
What does it do?
What would magic sunscreen is kind of magical, isn't it? Make you
Invulnerable.
invulnerable?
That's why we have our magic capes.
I think the magic sunscreen helps us see really, really, really far away. So if Reverend Suzelle puts on the magic sunscreen, let's see if she can see the playground. No.
I'm sorry.
Who let her in? Oh, no, wait.
I'm so sorry. It has like a nose thingy. Will you put some on me?
Okay. Some of us don't quite know how this works. There we go.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Mom.
now can you see? Really, we've got our magic sunscreen on. What do you see?
The playground is right here.
We
This
were
is
on
it.
it?
We were on it all along. And look at all these playmates.
What? We were here
Hey.
the whole time?
How is that possible?
Because we were playing.
So the world is a playground?
The world is our playground when we're willing to be a little silly, maybe.
Goofy.
Some of us more than others.
And when...
And pretending to be boats.
Right.
So we can be
And-
silly, we can pretend. But what's the best part of the playground?
Pretending to be a carpet.
You being together.
Being together. Amen.
All right. Thanks
Thank you
playing.
for playing.
We are going to sing you out to have some summer fun. You can totally bring it with you if you want.
Oh, you can make the world so bright, and you can turn the day from night, and share your gifts and spread your light, and learn what you know.
And I invite you now into this time of giving and receiving, where we give freely and generously to this offering which sustains the ongoing work of our community. You'll see on your screen that you can donate directly from our website, fusmadison.org. You'll see the text to give information there as well. And thank you to Cheryl and Christy for passing baskets here in the room. We thank you for your generosity and your faith in this life we create together.
Will you come out and play with me today? I think you already have. Oh, playmate, come out and play with me. Do you know this song? If you do, sing along. Oh, playmate, come out and play with me, and bring your dollies 3. Climb up my apple tree, look down my rain barrel, slide down my cellar door, and we'll be jolly friends forevermore. I wonder if you remember knocking on a friend's door in childhood and saying, "Will you come out and play with me?" When I was a little girl, my sisters and I would head down the block, starting at one house and then moving on to another and another and another, until we had gathered a group of kids big enough to play softball or tag or Red Rover, or Spud. Anybody here ever play Spud? Kick the can. Or this really wacky game that we made up called Statues. If you want to learn how to play it, I'll tell you after the service. Play is powerful. Maria Montessori, the 20th century educator known for her groundbreaking ideas, famously said, "Play is the work of the child." And it's true, kids think and feel and process information by playing. They don't yet know all the rules and limitations, so they make things up. They ask questions that are silly. Sometimes they just go with the flow of what intrigues them or what feels good. They simply try things naively, unselfconsciously, floating hypotheses and learning all the while. But children aren't the only ones who benefit from play. According to a whole raft of experts like Dr. Sandra Russ, psychology professor and play theorist at Case Western Reserve University, play is great for the mental and emotional health of people of all ages. And Dr. Stuart Brown, the world's leading researcher on the science of play, agrees. He interviewed thousands of people about the history of play in their lives, including everyone from Nobel Prize winners to convicted criminals. His research, right? I know, everybody. His research convinced him that play is the key to happiness, health, and better relationships. Interestingly, in the early years of his work, Brown also discovered a somewhat chilling trend in the lives of the mass murderers he interviewed. None of them had played when they were children. So, what kind of play exactly are we talking about today? In the adult world, we know play comes in many different forms. We might think it means participating in recreational sports like golf, pickleball, soccer, perhaps. There you go, that too. I couldn't say that though. Maybe we play a musical instrument, or we like to play card games or board games or screen-based games on our phones or online with big groups of people from across the globe. I know my son does that. They're mega multiplayer RPGs. Perhaps we think of hobbies like knitting or wood carving as a form of play. But let me ask you, when's the last time you went out into a rainstorm and danced with abandon like a little kid? We adults tend to approach play the same way we approach work, goal-directedly. Though the experts say that people who engage in purely purposeless and enjoyable activities tend to be more empathetic, less violent, and more adaptable and resilient in the face of life's challenges, most of us have bought into what our culture tells us about play, that doing things without purpose is a waste of time. Play for play's sake, though, is the kind of play that is super good for us spiritually and emotionally. It's the fun things we do for no apparent reason, just because we feel like doing them. It makes us forget our self-consciousness. The joy of it brings us into that present moment, and clock time fades into the background. It's the kind of play that begets more play, inviting us to keep experimenting and try something new. But unfortunately, there's often something, or perhaps I should say someone, in the way of our play. Bernie DeKoven is a game designer, an author, and a fun theorist. Wouldn't you love to have his job? He says that when we are playful in the way that helps us get to the core of our human wholeness, we are vulnerable, responsive, and ready to yield to the moment. In this kind of play, we let go and respond to the joy of what's happening. This means being open to the prospect of exciting discoveries, but it also means being open to the possibility of awkwardness and being uncomfortable. Now, when we're kids, this isn't usually a problem. But as we grow into adolescence and beyond, we start to be afraid to look foolish. We want so much for our peers to approve of us, and because we've generally had some failure, scolding, and shaming by this point from the people in our lives, we develop the inner critic. The inner critic is that voice inside our head that reminds us how awful it is to fail, how awful it feels to look stupid. And it starts talking every time we think about doing something risky or new or maybe a little silly. The inner critic makes us think that play is ridiculous, it's unproductive. You don't want to do that. And the inner critic does this because it's actually trying to protect us from harm. What the inner critic doesn't know, however, is that it's actually preventing us from doing something good for us, releasing our grip on old habits and opening our hearts and our minds to new possibilities. So, are you willing to take a moment with me to play with your inner critic? Okay, yeah, baby. So one really fun way to deal with the inner critic is to talk back to it using the most florid language possible to tell it, I'm an adult now, I can take care of myself, you don't need to help me. But what's even more fun, and what we're gonna do in a minute, is to draw a picture of the inner critic, a really unflattering picture that will intimidate it into leaving us alone. So, right now, take out the paper and marker you were given when you came in, and take a couple minutes to draw that really unflattering picture of your inner critic. Stick figures are fine, scribbles are great, just take a minute and go for it. Okay, I've got my inner critic drawn. How about you guys? That's not pretty. Okay, here's my inner critic. This is a little voice that's saying, you're bad, bad, bad. Don't do that. You can't do that. You're gonna look stupid. Come on. Just walk away. Don't dance in public. Don't go out in the storm. Okay, guess what I'm gonna do now? I'm going to get rid of my inner critic. Bye-bye. You can do the same. I invite you to take your critic and crinkle it up into a ball. Just really give it to your critic. Bye-bye, critic. I don't need you. You're getting in my way. Okay, you could even almost say out loud, get lost, you creepy critic. Yeah, and if you'd like, you can bring your inner critic up here to the bag. You could compost your inner critic, or if you give it to me, I will dispose of it in a ritually appropriate manner later today. It can go in the bag from Gay Paris. And I promise I won't look at anybody's inner critic. We'll just let them go.
Suzelle, my inner critic needed a systematic imprisonment.
Thank you. Thank you all. Bye-bye, critics. Yeah, these critics are going to make a nice beach bonfire with words of incantation. That's a lot of releasing right there. Ooh. You could do that too. Kelly will receive your critics. I think it went behind your chair. If you are at home, please feel free to, ooh, nice, I like that, stomped on the critic. If you're at home, you can release your critic into your garbage can or your compost bin. Thank you, everybody. I think you have a very playful congregation. Thank you, everybody. That was our first play break. So how was that for you? Fun. So, did it feel powerful? Did you feel powerful getting rid of your critic? Did you feel godlike when you crumpled up your critic? Well, guess what? In ancient Greek philosophy, there's an idea that when we play, we become godlike. And that is because true play involves the wild and absolute freedom that is only the purview of the gods. Additionally, in Hinduism, there's a Sanskrit word, lila, which loosely translates to play. But what lila signifies is that when the spirit plays, creation happens. Imagine the entire cosmos was created by play. Love that image. This understanding that God or the holy or the divine or the ultimate plays, that it moves and learns and changes and emerges in play, is in many ways the theology I was raised with as a Unitarian Universalist. My parents, children of the Great Depression, learned from early on, from the culture all around them, that necessity is the mother of invention. As kids, they had to improvise games and activities using whatever materials were right there at hand. And as adults, that ability to improvise and play extended to their religion. They were drawn to Unitarian Universalism by the idea that God was not a fixed creedal entity, that there was room in it for play, the play of new ideas, the play of their imaginations. They became longtime enduring church members because they were nurtured by the idea and reality of a spiritual community of love and justice that had room in it to play. And so, in addition to passing on the playful practices of improvisation and imagination to my siblings and me, by raising us as UUs, my parents empowered us to develop our own understanding of the universe and how to live a life of beauty and morality. We were encouraged to play with ideas about heaven and hell, the meaning of life, right livelihood, social justice, and pretty much everything else. To my friends, this freedom was preposterous, and they thought I was very weird. But my playful faith brought incredible liberation, vibrancy, and community into my life. So much so that I decided to give my life to this faith as a minister. But here's the thing. Just as being a Unitarian Universalist is a process, play is also a process. It's not an achievement. You don't get there once and for all. The possibility of delight and the opportunity to transcend our limited sense of self, to touch deep springs and renew ourselves via play, is all around us every moment. As we said earlier, this is the playground. But it requires risk-taking and action from us. So here's a little example. One day, the notable psychologist Carl Jung took a break from his work to take a stroll on a beach. As he meandered along the sand, he was overcome by an urge to build things like he used to when he was a boy. He began to gather stones and sticks, and then he constructed a miniature scene, including a church. And in the process, he was flooded with critically important insights about his life. He concluded that his childlike play had called forth these revelations from deep within him. But they never would have dared show themselves to him if he hadn't been willing to risk looking ridiculous by getting down on his hands and knees and playing in the sand. Now, if you're asking yourself if play is really important in our world today, where millions of trees are burning in Canada due to climate change-induced conditions, and where war rages on in the Ukraine and the Sudan and in so many other places, and where the US Supreme Court has gutted affirmative action and is upholding discrimination against LGBTQIA+ people, the answer is yes. Play is important because it offers hope, it builds empathy and courage in us, it helps us practice vulnerability, and it draws us closer, it lures us closer to our deepest truths. And we need all those qualities as individuals and as a collective of Unitarian Universalists, and as a collective of Wisconsinites, and as a collective of people in our nation. We need these qualities to address the challenges that are before us. So Dr. Kathleen Alfano, an expert in play and child development, says we would do well to make play part of our lives every day, and that even something as simple as smiling and laughing can bring forth that playful spirit. She says instead of turning to electronic devices or streaming movies or television shows when we have unscheduled time, we could use the time to daydream or just wiggle our bodies for fun, just for the fun of it. So we're going to take a little play break right now. Woo-hoo! We're going to do a little exercise called the hand dance that comes from the interplay community. Who here has heard of the interplay community? Not even Kelly, huh? Okay, so interplay uses forms associated with the arts like movement, storytelling, voice, and stillness to unlock the wisdom of the body. But it doesn't require any particular skill or even a lot of courage to give it a try. Somebody once described interplay as sneaky deep because it can be both playful and profound. I love that phrase, sneaky deep. In the hand dance, we simply allow one of our hands to move in the way that it feels like moving. So my hand likes to flow right now, it just kind of wants to flow. How about your hand? Just choose one of your hands, one of your 3 or 4 or 10 hands, and just let it move how it wants to move. Let it express what it wants to express. Beyond keeping it from impinging on your neighbors, don't try to control it. Don't try to direct it. Just let it do what it wants to do. See if you can let go of feeling ridiculous. It can kind of help if you close your eyes. Oh yes, much less ridiculous when I close my eyes. Okay, now see if there's a sound associated with what your hand is expressing. A sigh or a growl or a brrr or a hum or a note or a couple of notes. Just make that sound with your hand. And if your other hand wants to get involved, let it go, let it go. You are doing great. Even those of you who are saving this exercise for later when you're alone in your car or in the shower are doing absolutely fabulously. So bring your hand back to a resting position now. And feel what it was like to hand dance in this beautiful sanctuary, this very serious place, with all these people looking at you. Was it fun? Yes. Was it challenging? Yeah, thank you for admitting that. It was a little challenging for me too. I make it look real good, but I know you all are thinking I'm a dork, and so be it. Did you feel silly, peaceful, liberated, playful? Take note in your heart of what that was like for you. And again, the hand dance is available to you to do any time. You could do it regularly, like every morning when you wake up, or when you're looking at yourself in the bathroom mirror, or in the middle of your yoga class, or when you're lifting weights in the gym, or when you're watching the evening news. Dr. Alfano says that as unplayful as it may sound, scheduling playtime for ourselves is helpful because without regular practice, we're unlikely to play spontaneously. She also suggests that it can help to just let ourselves be childlike. Just put on a funny hat, talk to the flowers in your garden, whistle like a bird, or belt out a silly song on your drive home from work. Another play theorist suggests we make games out of tasks that we have to do, like see how creatively you can fold the laundry. Or mow a pattern into your lawn if you have a lawn. I will never forget the time my dad mowed the word hello in great big capital letters in our backyard. I loved looking out my second-story bedroom window and seeing that friendly greeting and imagining airplanes or even spaceships, knowing that we were saying hello. The long days of summer are a great time to play. I hope that you'll give it a try. Feel free, if you need it, to be inspired by the children or pets in your life, if that's what it takes. Or perhaps even think back to the kinds of play you enjoyed when you were a child. But even more than summer play, I invite you to begin a practice of play that continues through the rest of your life. For without play, our minds and our spirits suffer, and our lives can ossify. With play, we renew ourselves and our ability to see life with hope and joy. And in today's world, with so many tragedies, so many worrying, desperately worrying conditions, we need that hope and joy. And I'd even venture to say that practicing play will make us better Unitarian Universalists. So take a chance. Sing, dance, puzzle it out, be silly, let yourself dream, and perhaps even walk down your street and knock on some doors, inviting your neighbors, friends, and even strangers to come out and play. Shalom, blessed be, Ashe, and Amen.
we just take a moment to appreciate how Linda is clearly playing with the music this morning? You're having fun over there, aren't you? We gather each week, carrying with us the joys, the losses, the celebrations, the sorrows of our days. We bring them here knowing they are held in love and in support. We light a candle of love and support for Pat Egan, who's been in the hospital for the past couple of weeks and has moved to a rehab center. We send Pat our hopes for continued healing and good news, and we send our love to Lloyd as well. Vince Ferris asks us to light a candle of concern for his wife, Tammy, who was recently diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer and is starting chemotherapy treatment. The family appreciates everyone keeping Tammy, their daughter Lila, and Vince in your hearts and minds in the months ahead. And we light a candle of memory and gratitude for the life of John Palmer, who passed away on June 25th. John and his late wife, Carol, were members here, and we are sending our love to his children and family as they remember him, grieve his passing, and celebrate his life. Bev Dussault asked us to light a candle of joy for Jackie Tomlinson and her daughter, Rosa Thompson, who was honored as a woman of distinction last week for creating Black Girl Magic for young Black girls and women throughout our middle and high schools. And we light a candle to mourn the violence in our world, here in our own nation and around the globe. We know there are never enough candles to symbolize the pain, hold the anger, and cradle the tears. May this light fuel our passion for change and our hunger for justice. And I invite you now to join me in a moment of prayer with these words from Maureen Killeran. Holy grandparents of the universe, energies of creation, endless mysteries of life. You are the music that sounded before our world was born. Sound and silence woven throughout the ages. Far beyond the most profound wisdom humanity has been able to touch. Be with us. Deepen our willingness to live without certainty, to take the risks of living on the edges of our creativity, to play with the universe again as we did when we were young, to step beyond the boundaries of possibility and hope. Help us always to remember that we are in our essence the magic of star stuff, that we are kin to all that is and was and may yet come to be. Teach us to temper our impatience, to retain our conviction that what we do makes a difference, that even our smallest act can contribute to the good of a greater whole. Be with us in our uncertainties, rejoice with our small triumphs. Comfort our losses. Remind us we are never alone, not in our joys or in our tears. In the blessing of silence, may we feel your presence, something greater than we have yet been able to comprehend. Blessed be, and amen.
There is love holding us. There is love holding all that we love. There is a love holding
Our closing hymn is number 338, I Seek the Spirit of a Child. Do we rise? Will we please rise in body or in spirit? I seek the spirit of a child who needs life naturally, the child who sings the world alive and greets the morning sun with glee. Children are real beyond all art. May I see joys that give to our heart. I seek the freedom of a child who loves instinctively, who lights our day with just a smile, and shines that light on all we see. Children are real beyond all fears. May I see hopes that give to our tears. I seek the wonder of a child who sees delightfully the clouds implant a golden sun, imagination true and free. Children are real beyond all eyes. May I see faiths that give to our eyes.
May you be brave enough to expose your aching woundedness and reveal your vulnerability. May you speak your deepest truths, knowing that they will change as you do. May you sing the music within you, composing your own melody, playing your song with all your heart. May you draw, paint, sculpt, and sew, showing the world your vision. May you write letters, poetry, biography, slogans, graffiti, the great novel, laying bare your words to love and hate. May you love even though your heart breaks again and again. And until the end of your days, may your life be filled with possibilities and with courage. Blessed be, go in peace, and please be seated for the postlude. Hand dancing is allowed during the postlude.